These are the phalanges from the right hand of an adult individual. There are three different types of phalanges in the hand. We have this first row here, which are the proximal phalanges. So these are the ones that come first after your knuckles. So it's this part of the hand here. So proximal phalanges. Then we have the intermediate phalanges, represented by this one here. And then we have the distal phalanges, which make up the tips of the fingers, represented by this one here. So ways that you can tell these apart. Well, first of all, you can look, and if you have more than one, so a collection like we have here, the proximal phalanges tend to be much larger. But also, if you look at the proximal end, so this end here, and if you look at the articular facet, so this articulates with the head of the metacarpals. So this is the big knuckles here on the back of the hand. If you put your finger on the proximal facet, you'll feel that that's just a single facet there. So it's a smooth surface, slightly concave, and the tip of your finger sits in it quite nicely. Whereas if we look at the intermediate phalanx, you'll see the proximal end of this one actually has two surfaces. And if you put your finger on it, you can feel quite distinctively the change in contour there of the two different surfaces. And that's because this proximal end articulates with the first phalanx, which has that kind of double end. So it articulates quite nicely with that double facet. The distal phalanges, they're quite distinct anyway because they have this rounded edge. But if that's broken off and you've only got the proximal end, again, look for that double surface for the articular facet because that articulates in a similar way with sort of a double joint surface. Other things to note about the hand phalanges is when we look at them in cross-section, you'll find that the palmar side, so that's this side here, this is very flat. You can see very flat surface, and the dorsal side is rounded. So if they're broken in half, you can see kind of a semicircle cross-section. So the back is rounded, dorsal side, and the palmar side is the flat one. I always find if you try and roll it around your finger, it doesn't roll very well because one side is flat. And that's how you can tell them apart from the foot phalanges, because in the foot, the phalanges are rounded, so they will roll quite nicely, but these get stuck because of that flat palmar surface.